get back to the hotel for between 5:30 and 5:45. Okay, so about 45 minutes at the most and we'll be back. The 800s, Grand Tours, the fuels on the front of us needs like that.
There's a petrol station right outside of Llandudno.
Yeah, Shell garage. Yeah, but there's one on the 55 up just near Will. I filled up on Friday. There's easy access on and off the 55. So I just dive in there in the morning and stick something.
Sailing all the way. Which one is the nice? Yeah, winter. Even in the springs they're cold. I went in the spring. No, the summer. Because I went the spring. April 26th, and it's still very cold for us. Manila,
Right then, so over to your left-hand side, that's the quarry where it's still mined now, but it's also, that's where they do the zip line. And you can see the wires going across the top there, that's the actual zip line itself. And the cost of it is £65 to go on the zip wire. And at weekends it's actually £85. So we're just coming into the little town of Bethesda now. The quarry where they do the zip weld is still actually a working quarry for purple slate, and it's one of the biggest quarries in this area that does purple slate. And Bethesda was actually a town that was built around for the quarry, and it was a huge mining town. And what happened was back in 1900 there was a massive strike at the quarry, and that lasted, it's the longest strike in quarry history. It lasted for 3 years, and it was a violent strike as well. What they done was the owner of the quarry wanted them to work longer hours, gave them really bad conditions, and the men revoked against it, and they went out on strike. And just to upset the apple cart, what they done was the people that wanted to work, a new town was built called Tregarth, which is the next town on from Bethesda. Now Tregarth was for everybody that was breaking the strike. And when I say it was violent, you had actual family members killing each other. You know, you had the fathers. There was one instant where a father and a son both stabbed each other. Unfortunately, they both died, but one was for the strike and one was against the strike. So they got what they wanted. They wanted to, you know, really wind the workers up, and that's why they built Tregarth. And over the years, there has always been, even to this day, there's always set up ready. And unfortunately, the EU stuck their oar in and said, yes, you can build the houses, not a problem, but you are not to use purple slate from North Wales, because the cost of purple slate in North Wales would be cheaper than anybody else, and it's unfair trade. If you want to build the houses, then you're going to have to buy Spanish slate. And unfortunately, Spanish slate is nowhere near as nice or as good as purple slate, and it's also twice the price. So the Welsh Assembly turned around and said, that's fine, that's not a problem. And they've shelved the plan for the 1,500 houses. And what they've said is, once we leave the EU, we can then turn around and stick our fingers up so we can buy whichever slate we want now. We're not part of the EU, you don't own us, and we're going to buy purple slate. Probably in the region of about 98% of houses, especially in North Wales, actually, if they've got a slate roof, then it is purple slate from this area. This is the biggest area around North Wales that they mine for purple slate, and it is known throughout the world. You know, this stuff used to be exported all over the world back in the early 19th century, late 19th century, sorry, and it is known as the best slate in the world. And like I was saying about Zip World, when you go in there, we do a coffee stop in there on a Thursday optional, and we get there for when they're doing the people are going across the quarry, and one of our drivers actually done it, him and his wife, and she got up to, I think it was about 94 miles an hour. He actually got to 106 miles an hour coming across the quarry. You know, that's how the fastest it's ever been is somebody's been clocked. What they've got is on top of the little on top of the helmets, they've got little cameras, and they've got like a speed sensor, and it can pick up what speed you're doing going across the quarry. The fastest speed recorded so far was 126 miles an hour. That's all right as long as the brakes work. Otherwise, you'll find him in Llandudno. You know. So, but at the bottom of the quarry, where the zip line goes across, because of the purple slate, it's actually turned the water to a lovely turquoise blue, and it's known locally as the Blue Lagoon. And what you have to do is they're very clever, because it takes about 2 hours from the time you arrive to the time you actually do your last zip line, because they've got one small zip line that goes across part of the quarry, which is quite low down, and that actually records everything. And then if you've got any issues with health or anything like that, it will find out.